And welcome in, everybody, to the Last Row Podcast, a fan's perspective on sports. It's Brian here inside the ARM Media Solutions Studios on this Friday, May the 22nd, 2024. Hope you are well. Hope you're happy wherever it is you are joining us tonight, whether that is on Apple Podcasts, whether that is on Spotify. We do appreciate you, each and every one of you, for your subscribing, for your listening. We do thank you so much for being a part of the show. Big thanks to our friends over at I Know a Guy Remodeling, as well as Forever Finds Thrift. Make sure you check them out on our website. You can find a link to their Facebook page at www.lastrowpodcast.com. You can also check out our website there at www.lastrowpodcast.com as well. Big night of sports, and let's get into it. Let's not waste too much time as we get set. And we're currently in the second quarter, almost to the end of the half. Oklahoma City right now leading over San Antonio in San Antonio right now by 3, 54-51, a minute to go. I will just tell you this. The fact that Oklahoma City is leading right now, that's a very big that's a big deal. And the reason why I say it's a big deal is because of the fact that you have really, really good teams playing here. And if you are able to get any type of lead on the Spurs at home, Victor Wembanyama is in a little bit of foul trouble tonight. And he just picked up his third foul on a really bad decision by Wemby. Let's just be honest here. Really bad decision by Wembanyama. But that's fine. He's young. He'll learn. But ultimately here, you're building a lead, and if you're able to somehow or another, continue to just keep the pressure on the Spurs, Oklahoma City might be doing here and might finally have learned from game one what they need to do, which is get Wembanyama in some foul trouble, keep anything close. Am I ripping any packs, like in terms of cards, Paul? No, we're a sports podcast here. I don't rip any packs here on this. I do apologize. But again, the Spurs play a very, very good brand of basketball. And the Spurs are capable at any point in time of coming back thanks to Wembanyama. Who's Greg? Sorry, a little confused here. Honestly, how does Wemby only have 3 rebounds? JHN, look, I think Oklahoma City is making a concerted effort to crash the boards tonight, and I think they're doing a much better job boxing him out. I think the other thing too, the fact that he's got 3 fouls here in the first half, that's a big deal. That takes them out of their of his comfort zone, and quite honestly, you can see that here tonight. I think that Wemby has played a little timid. I'll be honest. I think that Wemby has a little bit of I'm going to use a term that most car people use, and it's called sticker shock. Okay? I think he was a little bit angry after the last game. And I don't think that he was planning on Oklahoma City playing as well as they did in Oklahoma City in Game 2. Give credit to Mark Daigneault, the head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder, because they made the adjustments as needed. And, the fact that Wemby's only got the 3 boards tonight, if we look at the box score here at the half, okay, Oklahoma City's up 58-51, a 7-point lead. That's in this game. Look, no lead is safe, right? We learned that the hard way. But SGA's got 9, Holmgren's got 6, Hartenstein's got 2, Dort's got nothing, Mitchell's got 2, Jalen Williams with 14. Caruso with 8. Joe has got 3. Wallace with 6. McCann with 8. Look, it's a balanced effort tonight. It's absolutely a balanced effort. Whereas with San Antonio, Wemby's got 10 points but only 3 rebounds. Fox is back with 11 points. Vasil's in with 11 points. Castle's got 7. But you don't see the... You're not seeing the fight and the grit from Oklahoma City, or from San Antonio that you saw in the first game. And, Dylan Harper's only got 2. Cornette's got 2. Bryant's got 3. Johnson's got 3. Barnes doesn't have anything. You look at turnovers, and you look at, rebounds, okay? It looks like here San Antonio's got 19 rebounds compared to Oklahoma City's 16 boards. So, kind of a wash, right? Turnover-wise, Oklahoma City's got 6 turnovers, 9 for the Thunder. Or for the Spurs, excuse me. So you're seeing, Wemby's got 2 turnovers. Fox has got 2. Castle with 1. Turnovers have been a very turnovers in this series have been a really dirty way of winning it. And that just shows it's good defense. And good defense is going to prevail every single time in the NBA. I'm sorry, it is. If you can be a good defensive team and force those turnovers, I mean, it's just like football, right? You can if you can force the turnovers, if you can impose your will on the other team defensively, guess what? That other team is going to struggle. And that's exactly what's happening right now to San Antonio. They're struggling because Oklahoma City is playing better defense right now than they are. As a team, San Antonio is shooting 41% from the field, 41% from the 3. Oklahoma City, on the other hand, 51% from the field, 53% from 3. That's the difference in the game. And the fact that Wemby only has 3 rebounds, he's not playing big inside. He's not playing dangerous inside. And that's the issue here. That's the problem with Wembanyama tonight, is I think he's playing timid. I think he's playing a little bit shy. And look, if San Antonio is going to have any shot of winning this series, Wemby's got to be big every night. I mean, think about Game 1. Game 1, he was flat out dominant. Nobody, and I mean nobody, on Oklahoma City could stop him. 40 points, 20 rebounds. The bench right now is outscoring Oklahoma City right now. Their bench is outscoring their starters. That tells you how deep they are. That tells you just incredibly how awesome their bench is, even though they've got maybe one guy going, leading the charge, if you will. And, that's Caruso with 8, and McCain's got 8. But again, look, you have to look at this from the Spurs perspective right now. Bench scoring, it's not even close. I mean, OKC is dominating the bench scoring while you've got 3, 6, 8, 10 points. You've got 10 points off the bench right now for San Antonio. That's not going to get it done in the playoffs. It's not going to get it done in the regular season either. So the bench has got to step up, especially with Wembanyama in foul trouble. Look, I know everybody's saying, oh, it's just 3 fouls. It's 3 fouls. They're big fouls nonetheless. So with that, you have a really dangerous situation here for Oklahoma or for San Antonio. They go down 2-1 here in this series, and they don't make the adjustments. And look, Wemby has to be the difference maker in this series. And if Wemby's not the difference maker, they're not going to win. They are absolutely not going to win. And that's going to be a problem for them because of the fact You look at game one, Wemby, nobody could stop Wemby in game one. Game two, different story. Game three right now, different story. And again, I'm just telling you, I think that overall, this team right now, the Oklahoma City Thunder, are playing so well defensively that it's completely taken San Antonio out of their game. It's absolutely taken them out of their game. And San Antonio is doing such a good job of limiting second chance opportunities. Oklahoma City is limiting second chance opportunities for the Spurs. That's where Oklahoma City got killed in game one, was a second chance opportunity. And that is absolutely right now imperative that they get, honestly, that they have a that they get more out of it. They have to. They absolutely have to. So look, credit to Oklahoma City for playing really solid defense. Credit to Mark Danielle, the head coach, for getting things moving in the right direction. And I believe that that's been the difference so far in this game. I absolutely believe that this was a concerted effort to just keep Wembanyama out of the paint, which is what they've been able to do. Which is exactly what they've been able to do. So, again, I believe that overall, you've got a great opportunity here to take a big-time series lead. You've got the opportunity. It's whether or not now you have enough of a lead if you're Oklahoma City. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. But right now, I really like what Oklahoma City's doing. Oklahoma City is dictating the pace. Oklahoma City is dictating how the Spurs are playing. And it's because of the defense. It's absolutely because of the defense. So, again, I believe that within the confines of this game, you've got a two really well-coached teams. And two teams that are absolutely dialed in. They don't take plays off. You don't see real sloppy play out of either team. You never do. You don't really, and I'm going to use last night with the Knicks and the Cavs, and I'm going to use the Cavs as the example here, and I'll get heat for it, and that's fine. But you don't typically see bad basketball like we saw with the Cavs last night out of San Antonio or Oklahoma City. You just don't see that. You don't see the really dumb plays from them. And that is something that I think that's why I think this is the finals in this series here. I think it's the finals in this series because you have incredible talent on both sides. You have really smart basketball, and you have teams that play really, really smart. They have high IQ games. And you've got people stepping up like Alex Caruso and so on. So, again, I think that overall you have a number of teams here that are two really, really good teams. And without question, it's going to be a very good it's just going to be a better game tonight than what we saw last night. Now, I will tell you this. I wouldn't count San Antonio out. I wouldn't count San Antonio out, and JHN had Wemby going for 13 boards. Look, I wouldn't count against that. He's only got to get 10 more boards. So that could very easily happen, especially if OKC goes on a little bit of a cold spell, if you will. And if that happens, I'm just telling you right here and now, if that happens, you're going to see teams, or you're going to see San Antonio really just try to push the pace, get Wemby out and get him running. If you run the offense almost like the triple post, like the triangle offense in Chicago with Phil Jackson, with Jordan and Pippen and Kukoc and all those guys. If you can get Wemby down in the paint, Oklahoma City is going to have to account for that. And remember, we talked about if Wemby can get down in the paint, if Wemby's able to do that, I think that you're going to see, you're going to see Wemby then start to make passes and get more involved that way. And I think you're going to see the Spurs really get out and run at that point. And I think that's going to be dangerous for San Antonio. Just being honest with you. I think that's going to be very dangerous for them. Now, another part of this is you've got to have, if you are the Oklahoma City Thunder, you have to have a plan for when Wemby goes off. You've got to be able to weather that storm. And if you're able to weather that storm, you're going to be so much better off. But again, you've got to be able to weather it. And that's the key here. You have to be able to weather it. And if you can do that, then you're good. But if you can't do it, if you're not able to, if you don't, it's like a defensive coordinator or an offensive coordinator, right, in football. You've got to be able to make adjustments on the fly. At halftime, you go in and you say, okay, this wasn't working in the first half. Let's figure out what we can do in the second half to get the running game going or to get, our defense set. Ultimately, that's what has to happen here for San Antonio. Okay, Wemby's not, no offense, Wemby, but you're not, you're not having a good night in the paint. So let's change that here. And let's, do what we need to do. And from there, then you've got things that are going to turn out well for you. But until that happens, until Mitch Johnson gets himself situated here, it's not going to end well for San Antonio. So again, I believe that San Antonio is going to make the adjustment, and Oklahoma City has to be ready to counter. They absolutely have to be ready to counter for it. And if they do that, I think they're going to be fine. And if they don't, then let's call it what it is here. San Antonio is going to go home pretty quick. They'll go down 2-1. And if they lose Sunday night and go down 3-1, series will be over. Series will be over real quick. The other thing I'll mention, too, about Game 3. I'm not a fan of the color matching that the Spurs fans are doing in the stands. So one section is the, down in the lower bowl, they're the the neon green or the teal that the Spurs used to have. Others are the black, others are the yellow, the pinks, like their old logo. I'm not a fan of that. As a viewer on TV, it's way too distracting. Way too distracting, to me at least. And I think that's ultimately what the problem is going to be as we get ready for the second half to begin. The Spurs started on a 15-0 run, and then Oklahoma City went on a 58-36 run in the final 20 minutes of the half. San Antonio got a 15-0 lead and couldn't hang on. That tells you how good of a team Oklahoma City is. And when Wemby's on, when he's on the court, he's a huge factor. But he's got to stay out of foul trouble. And Oklahoma City has done a really nice job of getting him in situations where he's going to foul and it's not going to end well. And so you've got, and that's a really nice high level play. Hartenstein sets up a screen for SGA. SGA goes around it. Hartenstein crashes hard. They get the mismatch with Wembanyama on SGA. Hartenstein crashes right to the rim for an easy dunk. Beautiful play. Oh, but Hartenstein's down. Hartenstein just went down grabbing his ankle. Wonder if he rolled it. He's back. He's running, though. He's running. Wow, that would be bad for Oklahoma City. SGA stops and pops, no good. Rebound to the Spurs. And again, Wemby not in there, not in the paint rebounding. Fox with a really bad shot on that last possession. And it's a 9-point lead right now for Oklahoma City. Wemby was looking for a foul there, saying Hartenstein was holding him. There's another part of Wembanyama's game that I think has to grow, and that's his maturity. He's still super young. And Wemby's not even fighting for rebounds. I wonder if there's something wrong with Wembanyama. I mean, he's not hustling down. I mean, he doesn't look nearly as fast as what he has in the previous games. I wonder if there's something wrong. I'm beginning to wonder if there is something wrong with Wembanyama. There's Sean Sweeney, the defensive mastermind, who I would love for the Bulls to have as their head coach. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I want Sean Sweeney as the Bulls head coach, if he's willing to leave San Antonio. I'm telling you right here now, I wonder if something's wrong with Wembanyama. I wonder if something's wrong. He's not hustling back at all. And he's not fighting for the rebounds like he did in Game 1 and Game 2. And maybe that was the purpose of beating him up a little bit in Game 2, was to, kind of make him think a little bit. And if you can make him think a little bit and you can cause him to second guess, being in the paint like that, then he, every time there's a shot that's put up, he's going to say, okay, I'm going to sprint back. And that in and of itself is a win for Oklahoma City. That's absolutely a win. Caruso, corner, 3, got it. Man, has he had a big series. He has had a phenomenal series, Alex Caruso. What a great job by Caruso in this series. He has just been deadly from 3. And I'll tell you what, San Antonio's got to find an answer. Right now, they can't, and it sounds weird to say, but they can't stop Caruso. And he's not guarding Wemby. He's guarding Castle, which is an easier assignment, I think, for him. But then when they switch, he goes right into playing Wembanyama. And then when somebody else gets the ball, he immediately, wow, what a play by Oklahoma City. Caruso immediately dives on the floor to get a ball and gets them going on the fast break. That's the difference right now between these two teams, is you've got Oklahoma City diving on the floor for loose balls and doing the little things to make a difference. San Antonio's not doing that right now. And that's a good foul by Caruso. Nothing dirty. And San Antonio knows it. He just stopped a fast break. by swiping at the ball. Castle's trying to get a flagrant. Trying to get a flagrant called on Caruso. He didn't do anything bad. And Castle hung on the net to cause himself to fall forward into the padding. Caruso didn't do anything wrong. That's a good playoff foul. And that's the other thing, too, that I've seen a lot of so far in the coverage has been people complaining about the officiating. Look, this is the playoffs. This is the playoffs, and referees are going to call games. You're going to have some officials that are going to call them tighter and some that are going to let them play. And in this series, we're seeing San Antonio and Oklahoma City being allowed to play. And Chet Holmgren with a nice follow-up because Wemby's not in the paint. I'm telling you right here and now, folks, they got to do something to combat how Wemby's not playing. Wemby is not playing well. And I think it's because Oklahoma City is doing such a good job on him. But the officiating in this series, they're letting him play. They're allowing them to get out and play physical. And now there's some pushing and shoving going on. There's pushing and shoving going on in the game because of a hard foul on Castle. Castle's very upset. He's pushing San Antonio staffers away as they're trying to calm him down. And that's a good play by De'Aaron Fox right there. Grab him, hold on to him. Bench is cleared. The officials are going to take a look at this and see if it's a flagrant or if it's just a common foul. And it's critical that you know what? I'm going to say this right now. The officiating, if this is how it's going to get, the officiating needs to tighten up. But it's going to be hard for them to do that when they've allowed a lot of this to happen. So fast break, look, it was a good play. He just went flying. Looks like benches didn't clear necessarily, but it was coaching staff coming over. Castle got fouled on the play by Mitchell. Castle went flying. I think that's a common foul. I don't think there's any flagrant there. And then you had somebody else for the Spurs come in and shove Mitchell. Now that, I could see that being a technical. I could absolutely see that being Vassal's the one that did it. Vassal's the one that did it, and that's a problem there. And then you had Castle throwing a punch at one of the Spurs staffers, telling him to get away. And then somebody from the Oklahoma City bench tricked one of the coaches into thinking they were going to run onto the court. They can't call that a flagrant. I'm sorry. That if they call that a flagrant, that's ridiculous. They cannot call that a flagrant foul. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. So they are going to call a flagrant. That's a horrible call. He did not push him. Unless if there's another angle, he did not push him. And you can see in the huddle right now for the Spurs, Castle is just fuming. I tell you what, if you're watching this game right now, I mean, did he push him? I mean, I didn't see a push. And they did call a double technical on Vassell and Mitchell for the shoving. I don't agree with that call. I don't like that call. I think Castle's momentum took him into the crowd there. That's a bad call. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. We're going to hear from our friends over at I Know a Guy Remodeling, and then from there, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about this game a little bit more. We're going to talk about the NHL as well. You've got Game 2 happening between Vegas and Colorado tonight. All that and more coming up on the Last Row Podcast. You know what playoff time in the NBA and the NHL reminds me of? Pressure, intensity. Every possession matters. Every shift matters. And the smallest details, hustling for loose balls, boxing out, can be the difference between winning and going home. And honestly, that's exactly how you should treat your home projects as well. That's why I roll with I Know a Guy Remodeling. Because just like a championship team, they don't cut corners. Whether it's a kitchen remodel, a bathroom upgrade, or finishing that basement you've been talking about since last offseason, they bring playoff-level execution every single time. While teams are fighting for a title, you can be upgrading your own home court. So don't leave your biggest investment to chance. Go with someone you know shows up in the clutch. You can check out a link to their Facebook page on our website, www.lastrowpodcast.com. Because everybody deserves to know a guy. And now you do. I Know a Guy Remodeling. All right, welcome back into the Last Row Podcast. Currently a 9-point lead for the Oklahoma City Thunder over the San Antonio Spurs. SGA is wondering why is he getting called for a foul against Castle is just baiting these guys into fouling right now. And SGA had a beautiful teardrop shot fall against Wembanyama trying to block it. You can see there's a lot of pushing and shoving going on right now in this series. And that's very interesting to me that they're letting them get away with this. But it is the NBA playoffs. Look, it's the conference finals. It's the conference finals. And I tell you what, Sean Sweeney and Mitch Johnson are both talking to each other, going through things, trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's fascinating. This is a really good chess matchup, these two teams. And San Antonio led the season series 4-1. Wemby gets in and gets a rebound. That's the first rebound at the 7:31 mark of the second half for Wembanyama. That's shocking to me. He's just not playing well. And I'm wondering if something's wrong. I don't see him being aggressive at all. They just called a goaltend on Chet Holmgren. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. Simply for the fact that he trapped the ball against the backboard. The ball wasn't going down yet. Castle just shoved SGA in a foul. I'm telling you, folks, the referees may need to step in here and start calling things a little bit tighter and warn the benches that that's what's going to happen. Because this is getting a little bit touchy. Little touchy for the NBA. And again, I'm just wondering here whether or not there's going to be ramifications after this game. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see exactly what's happening. All right, let's shift gears here a little bit. Let's talk about the NHL. And you've got the Montreal Canadiens shocking everybody last night with a 6-2 win on the road. And kudos to them. In Game 2 right now of the Western Conference Finals, which Las Vegas leads 1-0, you have Colorado up 1-0 at home. So right now, look, it's a goaltending matchup. There's no question about that. And Colton scored the goal for Colorado with the assists from Burns and Kadri. And I think, look, Colorado's a very, very good team. Vegas, though, to me, is so unique and so good. And I'll be honest with you. John Tortorella has gotten the best out of these guys. And when they're playing well, and when they're dialed in like they have been, they're as good as anybody right now in the NHL with Tortorella behind the bench. And Torch has done a really good job of getting this team to respect him and getting this team to buy in. And I believe that Vegas is as close right now to winning a Stanley Cup as they've ever been. And you've got a lot of really good players, for the Avalanche and for the Vegas Golden Knights playing. And on the ice right now, you got Brandon Saad, Sissons, Hurdle, Anderson, Korchak. In goal, you've got Hart, who's allowed 1 goal on 22 shots. For the Avalanche, you got Burns, Drury, Malinsky, Kelly, and O'Connor, and Wedgwood on the in net, who's been played on his head. He's been playing on his head all night. And so, ultimately, look, this is going to be a really good series between these two teams. I really like Colorado is just so good every single year. It's just, when they moved, when they became in existence from the Quebec Nordiques, that has been just incredible to watch, and how long they've had sustained success has been great. Big foul here on Victor Wembanyama, or it should have been a foul on Wemby, as Chet Holmgren had position. Oh, he was still moving. That's a good call that it's on Holmgren. That's a good call. That's absolutely a good call. Holmgren wasn't set. Wemby barreled into him. But anyway, in terms of this series, though, for the NHL, I mean, Colorado theoretically should run away with it. But Vegas just has something about them with John Tortorella behind the bench. And I'm not sure if it's just they've adapted to Tortorella's personality of being kind of standoffish and pissed off and moody all the time, or if it's more that these guys are just dialed that much in. And I mean, Vegas has played very, very well in this series. Vegas has absolutely played well. But I like Colorado in a very tough series. I think it's going 7. I like Colorado in the series, and I'm gonna call the upset in the East too. I'm gonna call the upset in the East too, and I'm gonna say Montreal wins. I'm gonna say that. Montreal last night shocked everybody. TikToker, good evening. They have Montreal shocked everybody last night with that win. That was shocking. Lou, good evening. So right now the Avalanche lead 1-0 in the third. And again, you've got Colorado, who has been, one of the better teams all season long in the NHL, playing very, very well. And all of a sudden, it looks like Colorado's found their rhythm. Although there is a power play right now for the Vegas Golden Knights, so we'll see what happens there. All right, looking now back to the NBA and this game tonight between the Spurs and the Thunder. I'm telling you right here now, the officials need to get a hold on how physical this game is becoming, because of the fact you've got guys, essentially baiting other guys into fouls. And I think that overall the officials got to get a hold on this, because if you don't, you're going to have a really chippy series coming up. And I think that's going to be bad for the NBA, especially when you've got two really good, phenomenal teams playing. And again, I do not like this color-coded thing that the Spurs have going with their fans. I just don't like that. I think it's very distracting as a viewer. And if I were NBC, I would be very upset about it. I do not like it. And the first thing coming out of the timeout, the TV timeout, physical play. And again, I think the officials need to get a hold on this. Officials have got to get a hold on that. And that flagrant on Mitchell, I don't like at all. The technical, fine. The flagrant, I didn't like. I thought the flagrant was not a flagrant. He did not push him in the back like they said. San Antonio's got to make a move, though. Yeah, they're going back through that right now. I think they said Mitchell left the court. Did I hear that correctly? That they said Mitchell left the court after that dust-up? It's an 8-point game right now. 8-point game right now. With the Spurs battling back. The bench has been phenomenal for Oklahoma City. And look, we talked about that in game one with Oklahoma City. Caruso was incredible in game one. And then he's been phenomenal again tonight in game number 3. So he helped lead the charge back in Oklahoma City, but I don't necessarily believe, I don't think tonight we're going to get an overtime game. I just don't. That should have been a foul on Wembanyama. No call, though, and the basket still went in. The officials, to me, are calling this, now they're calling a foul down there, but the foul on that Wembanyama just had, it's just inconsistent. That's a foul on Wembanyama. How are they not going to call that? He bodies the guy. That should have been his 4th foul. If you're going to call it, you got to call it both ways. You can't just have it one way. And in this instance here, I think they're calling it. I think they're protecting Wembanyama, and I don't like that. Wembanyama, to me, look, we've talked about it here. Wembanyama has a little bit of a temper. And when he gets angry, when he gets frustrated, Wembanyama is a problem and can make really bad decisions. And him playing with 3 fouls right now with 5:59 to go in the third, that's asking for trouble, as far as I'm concerned. Oklahoma City defensively is doing a brilliant job keeping Wembanyama out of the paint. They are bodying him up right from the start. And I think that's a brilliant defensive play. They're going to say, all right, big fella, you want to get in the paint, you've got to do what you can do, against us. And honestly, I, I mean, if Wembanyama's going to shoot from outside, let him. Absolutely let him. Because if Wemby's going to beat you from outside, okay, you tip your cap. If you don't let that 7'5" dude in the paint, you know what? That's even better on you. SGA picks up a foul. San Antonio can't believe it. But it's a good call. Officiating just has to be more consistent, I think, in this series. SGA should have gotten called for a push-off there, and instead he leaned into the defender in the air, Bryant. Wemby's got to be careful, too. Wembanyama has to be careful. All right, let's talk about some other news. The Chicago Cubs have lost 6 straight. And there's absolutely some dissension amongst Cubs fans with how this team is playing right now. And they've had 2 separate 10-game winning streaks. Yet the Brewers come in and sweep. Today you lose to the worst team, or one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball, with the Houston Astros, with their pitching woes. A team that's got one of the highest ERAs in the game. And I'm just not sure what the hell the Cubs are doing right now. And, I mean, it looks like they don't care. And I don't know if it's maybe just the May Blues type of thing. They started out really well in April, not so much now in May. I mean, they're going to have to now. Now, the one saving grace today was Pete Crow Armstrong hit a home run, but they were absolutely dominated today. I mean, offensively, it was horrible. And they're 2 games back in the division now. They're in 3rd place behind the Cardinals and behind the Brewers. And if I'm the Cubs right now, I've got to figure out something else here to work, because the Cubs are not, at this point in time, playing well. And I don't know if it's offensively. I don't know what it is. Good evening, Breezy. I don't know what in the world the Cubs have to do, but it's just not good right now. I'm fine. How are you? All right, it's a 7-point game here between the Spurs and the Thunder. This quarter alone, the Spurs are 12 of 15 from the free throw line. Oklahoma City is 3 for 3. That's a huge discrepancy in this quarter alone. And honestly, it's so one-sided. It is so one-sided. But alas, that's how it's going to be in the playoffs. You're going to have some teams that just are more aggressive, and you're going to have other teams that, you know what, that are just going to, bite their time. And that's what's happening here. San Antonio's got to make a run. San Antonio has got to make a run here. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know what's going on with Victor Wembanyama. I know I've said it like 3 or 4 times. Something is painfully off with him tonight. It looks like he doesn't want to play. I don't see him running fast. I don't see him, diving to the paint to rebound. I don't see any of it. I mean, I've seen him post more in the corner and wait. So I just don't know. I just don't know. And I'll say this much too. The Spurs bench has got to step up. the Spurs bench has got to step up. They have to. I mean, the bench scoring the difference between the two is incredible. And for the Spurs, they're going to rely on Dylan Harper to do a lot of the scoring here. But San Antonio, if they want to make a run at the title, they've got to improve their bench. The other thing, too, when Wembanyama's out, when Wembanyama is out of the game, Oklahoma City needs to be aggressive and attack the paint. They're so terrified every time that Wembanyama's out there that they don't attack the paint. It's just simple basketball. When the big man's out, you run at the paint. You have to run at the paint at that time. All right, Wembanyama is checking back into the game now. Wembanyama in games 1 and 2 has played 86 minutes, which is the most in any 2-game span of his career. Tonight, he's played 25 minutes. So I wonder maybe if he's just tired. But listen, you want to be one of the best, right? This is what you have to do. You have to play like one of the best. And if his cardio is in question, I don't know. I'm talking out loud here, speculating. But he's not himself. He is not himself tonight. And maybe he is tired. I don't know. But he's just not acting like the same Victor Wembanyama that we saw in games 1 and 2. And maybe that's it. Maybe he is just tired. Maybe he is just tired. So we're going to continue to watch this. It's a 10-point lead right now between the Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Spurs are down by 10. Make it 9. All right, let's check some of the other news. Of course, we have the tragic news of Kyle Busch passing away yesterday, at the age of 41. Richard Childress Racing, the owner of the car and the team that he was a part of, is retiring Kyle Busch's number 8 until the late driver's 11-year-old son, Brexton, is ready to take over. Richard Childress Racing will run the number 33 car on the Cup Series starting on Sunday night at the Coca-Cola 600 and for the future. Reports were coming out today, and they released the 911 call. It is very chilling. He was down on the ground. He was coughing up blood. He was very, very warm. He felt like he was going to pass out. And I will just tell you this. The fact that there's two thoughts going through right now. One is a pulmonary embolism. Good evening, sir. How are you? The other thought is a pneumonia, an issue with pneumonia or a blood clot. And whatever it is, it's just sad that they didn't get it diagnosed sooner for Kyle Busch. And the fact that Richard Childress Racing is retiring the 8 until Brexton is ready, his 11-year-old son, is a really classy thing to do. And quite honestly, it's a really touching moment. And the number 8 is reserved and ready for Brexton Busch when he's ready to go to NASCAR. And Brexton's a third-generation Busch driver, began his racing career in 2020 at 5 years old at the Millbridge Speedway, a 6th-mile dirt track in Salisbury, North Carolina. He picked up his first victory at Mountain Creek a month later and has built his racing resume ever since. And Richard Childress Racing doing that is a very classy move, in my opinion. So you have that news that broke earlier today. You continue to have news about the Chicago Bears and the stadium drama, but before we get to that, Las Vegas has stormed back in the hockey game over on ESPN. Vegas now has the lead 2-1 in Colorado. All of a sudden, we have seen the Golden Knights come alive. And right now, Barbashev has a goal and Eichel has a goal. Look, for a guy who was run out of Buffalo and who didn't like his time in Buffalo and couldn't win anything in Buffalo, Eichel has played very, very well in Vegas. And now that you have the lead with Vegas in 6:34 remaining, I'm going to tell you this right here and now. If Vegas goes up 2-0, this series is done. If they steal home ice, my God, is that a hell of a coaching job by John Tortorella. That would be absolutely incredible to see. And I just have to wonder, what in the world does Colorado do to counter this? And I'm not sure. I don't have the answer, but I can tell you this much. If they go down 2-0 at home, that is absolutely a huge coup by Tortorella and the Golden Knights. My God, if they go into Denver and they beat Denver and go up 2-0 in this series, that's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Chaunch, good evening. How are you? Buckwheat, good evening. How are you? So the fact that Vegas is up right now 2-1 is incredible. I'm loving every second of it. And again, Jack Eichel scoring that goal is huge. He has had a really, really good Stanley Cup playoff. And for a guy that couldn't do anything in Buffalo, I think Buffalo may have given up too soon on him. Just me, though. Happy Friday to you as well. Chaunch, it's been a while. What's new? What's exciting? Oh, Caruso with another 3. 10-point lead again. Wow, he's been a huge factor in this game and in this series. I'm going to say this right now. He's the MVP of the Western Conference Finals, in my opinion. It's got to be Alex Caruso. I mean, he has been brilliant off the bench for the Thunder. I mean, that's incredible to see. And I have to tell you that, I mean, look, San Antonio has to do a better job defensively. I mean, this is becoming really, really evident that you have a number of different players on the Thunder that are making humongous contributions. And realistically here, you have, I mean, Alex Caruso right now is he's the MVP of the Western Conference Finals. I mean, it's absolutely astonishing to me. I mean, Caruso's got 15 points. McCain's got 13. Dort doesn't have any. SGA's got 18. Holmgren with 10. Hartenstein with 5. Mitchell has 2. Jalen Williams with 14. Joe with 3, Wallace with 8. I mean, they are getting as balanced of scoring as you can possibly have. And I'll tell you this right here and now. San Antonio doesn't have anybody off the bench that can do this. They don't have anybody off the bench that could do this. And until they figure out how to slow down the Thunder bench, that's going to be the difference in this series. That is absolutely going to be the difference in this series. Now, talking about another part of this here, Oklahoma City is shooting 53% from the field, 54% from three-point range. Turnovers, Oklahoma City has 9. Comparatively, the Spurs are shooting 40% from the field, 37% from the free throw or from the three-point line, 10 turnovers. I mean, Chaunch, I don't think they do. I think honestly they need a better bench. They've got to get somebody else because Harper, I think, should be starting for them. Number one. Number two, Wembanyama tends to, when things aren't going his way, he tends to flop and flail and do things. He tends to do things where he gets angry. Yeah, they don't have a dog, but I think Wembanyama could be that because I see a little bit of Fox is hurt. Fox is hurt for San Antonio, his ankle. He's trying to walk to the bench right now. And he's made his way off the court. He's limping badly. Oh, is he limping badly? Wonder if he rolled it. Let's see. Oh, no. Was that Dort that fell into it? No, Jalen Williams fell into it. No, it was Dort. He fell into it, going for a loose ball. Yeah, they've got to have somebody that's an emotional leader, but Wembanyama, to me, he can play a little dirty when he wants to. And he is just absolutely, when he plays dirty, it's not minimal. He's absolutely just Wemby's game to me, when he's driving with the ball, he's out of control. And that's how you can get early or quick fouls on him, is by just getting him out of control. Fox tried to run through it, and he's biting down on the towel like Jerry Tarkanian. He's in a ton of pain. I'm wondering why he's still on the bench. Why aren't they wrapping it? Again, though, Wembanyama is not, that's the first points in the paint that I've seen Wembanyama have tonight. And if he's not going to be a factor in the paint, then look, Oklahoma City, no, I'm not either. Chaunch, I'm not a fan of his game either right now. He's too big of a guy to play out on the perimeter, in my opinion. He needs to develop a post game like Akeem Olajuwon. With his size, he could be the closest thing to Akeem Olajuwon that the NBA has had. And if he could develop some post moves, if he could develop post moves, he would be absolutely deadly. But you're not seeing that right now. And I don't know if it's his age. I don't know if he's not big enough. like muscular-wise, because he's I mean this in the nicest way. He's a string bean. All right, 28 and a half seconds left. Oklahoma City by 12 right now. Holmgren at the line. He hits the second of two. It's a 13-point lead. They have not, San Antonio from late in the second quarter has not been able to counter anything that Oklahoma City has done. And that's a credit to Mark Daigneault. That's a huge credit to him. And I tell you what, another guy that deserves a ton of credit here, and we talked about, Greg Popovich being, the mastermind in San Antonio. Sam Presti in Oklahoma City is doing just that. He's been phenomenal in Oklahoma City. It's an 11-point lead to end the third quarter for the Thunder. The Western Conference Finals, I'll tell you what, the Western Conference Finals, like I've said before, this is the NBA Finals in my opinion. This is the best series, and I mean the Knicks and the Cavs are turning into a pretty good series. I'm not going to deny that. But the fact that you have, really the best two teams playing right now, each other in the West, is absolutely incredible. And I'm really looking forward to the rest of this series. Really looking forward to it. All right, that's going to put a bow on this edition of the Last Row Podcast. We thank you so much for joining us, whether that's on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you're with us here on TikTok, stick around. We're going to do the OT here. Thank you to everybody that chimed in and viewed us on YouTube Live. If you haven't subscribed there, make sure you do so. And until tomorrow night, when we're back with more of the Last Row Podcast, I'll see you in the last row.